this little reflection exercise, we reflect a bit the past week and set intention for the upcoming week. I have a few exercises or questions you gotta write down, so take pen and a notebook. And sometimes it's hard to remember what just happened on last Monday if you're doing this on Sunday. So it's good to have your calendar as well, or maybe even from your phone you can browse what you did during this week, because at least for me it's hard to remember everything that happened even in a week. Okay, so you can have your notebook and pen ready, and you can pause the video anytime you feel like you need more time to write, or of course skip some parts if there's too much time. But first we just start with a little body check. We don't do too much meditation or anything like that. I know sometimes some of these exercises are a bit even annoying if there's too much meditation when it's about writing and setting the intentions like that. But let's just have a little comfortable position. Just close your eyes for a few breaths, acknowledging where you are. How is your body feeling? And we take 3 conscious breaths together, in all the way to belly, and out. In and out. 1 more in, and let go. Maybe you've landed a little bit more to your body now, so that you write more from your intuition and more strongly what you actually want to write about, because if you skip completely any kind of free thing, you might just start writing and the noise in your head just gets to the paper instead of something more mindful. Okay, then have your pen and paper ready and we start the exercise. I have here already written down these points, but we start first by writing week. You can put the dates or the week number over here at the top. Like so. And then my first question is, what were the top 3 things during this week? So you just write top 3. Now I'll give you a little moment to think about it. Don't think about it too much though, just something that pops to your head quite quickly when you just think of the past week. You can take a little bit of a look to your calendar, what happened. It's like, oh yeah, that was great. So I'll let you for that for a little moment. It can be really small things, like if you ate your favorite dish or saw some good friend of yours, or of course if something grand and amazing happens you can add that, but normally the top 3 are in the small moments, I think. Okay, if you want to think of it longer, you can always pause the video, but I'll move on now for the next question. It's simply the high of the week, so you can probably choose from the top 3. What was the absolute high point of the past week? Okay, again you can see if you're ready. And the next one is low of the week. Yeah, it's good to acknowledge if something didn't go at all how you planned, how you wanted, and just write it down, and no need to do this somehow with toxic positivity, but we also want to focus on the lows. once again, see if you need some more time or if you're ready to move on to the next question. Now it's a little bit longer sentence to write first. Something that this week taught me was. So please write this whole beginning of the sentence, so then it's easier for you to continue the sentence and more mindfully think about it instead of just continuing the sentence without writing it from the beginning. Something that this week taught me was. Option to pause the video if you want to think of this one longer, or we move on to the next question, which is something that fuels my energy lately is. Something that fuels my energy lately is. Now it doesn't need to be just during this week, just now think with intuitively like, oh, that was so good, that's great song, I love this podcast, or anything that comes to your mind, like nice things that keep you going nowadays. Maybe your workout routine, maybe some new friend you met, anything, because it's always nice to come back to this later as well. If you consistently keep on doing this routine, you can check what fueled you 3 months ago, and especially at the low point when you don't feel so good and you feel like nothing's fueling your energy, you can get back to these thoughts you have written down and get excited by it again. And there's no minimum or maximum how many you can write to these. Just write everything that comes to your mind right now. Great, not to make this video too long, we move on to the next one, and you can pause and think more if you want to. Next question, 3 things that I'm grateful for. So now comes the typical gratitude exercise. 3 things that I'm grateful for. Once again, kind of, at least for me, it's easier to kind of let my pen write instead of overthinking about it too much. I know we're all very different, and for me, writing is a bit more natural way than maybe for others. It's more about talking, communicating, but try not to overthink it. Just go with the feeling and what pops to your head. If something comes, just write it down. Don't think, is this really now in the top 3 or not? These questions we have now reflected on the past week. You can take a little look what you had there on your top 3, your high of the week, your low of the week, something that this week taught you, something that fueled your energy lately, and the 3 things you're currently grateful for. Now we have just a few little questions for the upcoming week to set the intention. First, a bit longer question to think about is, next week I want to show myself more compassion for. So once again, write the whole sentence. Next week I want to show myself more compassion for. If this is a bit quasi-deep question that is hard to answer, you can think what you have struggled with, what this week you didn't really show yourself compassion, maybe you didn't, I don't know, go sleep early, maybe you didn't allow yourself to do some nice things, or anything it is. Just based on that, it's maybe easier to think how to be more compassionate towards yourself. For example, I want to let myself work more slowly and with clarity rather than rushing and pushing it, to try to get as much done in a short time as possible, as that's kind of the culture we live in. So that's just an example, but write what resonates for you right now. Okay, see if you need more time. We have 2 more words we write down. Next week's focus and hope. So write their words, next week's focus and hope. And first thing, what do you really would want to focus on the upcoming week? This can be on feeling a certain way. Maybe you have some task that you really want to accomplish. I mean, we all have always a lot of tasks to accomplish in a week, but if you had just one certain task that you could accomplish and then you would feel happy at the end of the week, like, okay, I got it done, I got it out of the way, write that one. Or you've been really distracted browsing too much on social media, maybe for a week you can set an intention to use phone mindfully, or even cut the social media completely for a week. Up to you. Just sometimes examples, at least for me, help on these kinds of exercises, because all these exercises sometimes are a bit like too quasi-deep or hard to get to the practical level. Okay, if you're done with the focus, then hope. This hope means continuing sentence. It would be amazing if this happened next week. Like, what would you kind of secretly hope? You don't need to even show this to anyone else, but like, that would be amazing if that thing happened. It might even be something that doesn't feel realistic. Maybe your mind is struggling to believe in it, but you can still write it down. It doesn't need to happen next week if that's the hope you still have, or you can set something more realistic. Okay, and that concludes our weekly reflection exercise with the past week, and then the next week you set yourself what you want to be compassionate for yourself, as well as next week's focus and hope. In the other videos we get more deeper into the intention setting. Thanks for joining, have a good day. Bye bye.